Welcome to a night in the Asylum. It's Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, as if you didn't know. Time for Talk Tech and Tequila with Darren and Jen. Call in live or leave a message at 855-366-9653 or email dilbert@asylum.radio. It's time to take refuge with your friends, your cocktail and cream puff.
And Joe Jordan.
And Joe, I love every
Right.
time. I love when the intro says your cocktail and cream puff. And Joe's eyebrows always go up.
Joe, do you even know what that's talking about?
I don't care.
Jen is the cocktail and I'm the cream puff.
Yes.
I got that much. You are the big pup there.
Today's Tuesday, February 23rd. We're live.
Live the day after Margarita Day. Did you guys have margaritas?
No, I didn't even know it was a margarita day. I didn't
know it was
bourbon.
There was a day for everything. I think yesterday was also like National Cat Day or something. I don't know. So
Whatever.
Where's
There's a
Harry?
thing. They're locked away because if we're recording, they're going to make all the noise. They run around like horses.
Okay, Jen. So are you connected by a permanent or by an Ethernet cord tonight?
So I was, and now
And it didn't work out.
It did not work out. I don't know why I couldn't get the internet to work. So it was connected. It should just, you turn off Wi-Fi and internet should be working, but that was not happening.
Okay, so it's not happening tonight, but I'll let you go tonight.
Hold on. And my microphone is like totally facing the wrong direction. How is that?
I like how you slowly turn that toward your
Oh,
mouth.
Darren.
That should be better.
Naughty boy.
Oh, if only I was straight.
Yes.
Then I would mean half of what I'm saying. All right. So, Jen, what's our topic tonight? Or should we let Joe introduce it?
Let's let Joe introduce. Let's
I'm
see
not.
how
This
he-
is your idea.
now he gets nervous.
I'll tell a little backstory to it. So recently, Darren and I became friends again on Facebook. Unknowingly, I had blocked him.
Unknowingly. It takes like three
Unknowingly.
clicks.
Well, obviously, I did it knowingly, right?
Willingly, intentionally.
But honestly, I don't remember doing it. I don't know why. My feelings were hurt, and he upset me, and I cried a little bit that
I
night.
didn't know
and
you were
blocked
so
him.
sensitive.
Oh, come on. No, I don't remember. It could have been like a time maybe I got rid of the account, got back on. I don't know how any of that works. So
So I'll tell you what happened.
what happened?
Oh, Darren knows
You tell me,
exactly.
because this might be years.
I'm going to lay it on the line. It's not
oh,
years.
It could
Did
be
you
years.
know whenever you no longer saw Joe or
No.
Okay.
Because
so
I-
wait,
You weren't missing anything.
So here's the deal.
Don't
Our
cry,
topic
cry
tonight,
about it to me.
our topic tonight is blocking Facebook friends. Who, why, when, and did you make up? So here's what happened. So we asked Joe to be on Asylum multiple times, but he never wanted to come in because we were recording in the city, in New York City. So I would traipse in from my work in where I'm at in what town? Somerset was where I was when we were doing this. And I would take the train in. It would take me 40 minutes to get there, 45 minutes. And I would meet Jen at DNR Studios. And I would get there about 6:30 or so. And then she would
get
be
there like
running to the door
7:25.
by 7:25. So I'd have to
Sounds
go
like Jen.
downstairs, unlock the door and let her in. And then we'd be rushing upstairs up the elevator to start the show by
To be
7:30.
fair, though, let me clarify. There's a lock in front of the building, and if nobody is waiting for you, you have to wait for somebody to like open the door so you can even get it.
So now we're at home. But anyway, the point of that is that Joe would never come in because he lives in the Trenton area, like not South Jersey, but pretty far down.
Ewing, to be exact.
So it's a much further ride for him, and he just didn't feel like it. But then when he found out that we're doing this from our home, then he's like, "Oh, I want to be on now," and suddenly I want to be a co-host.
Well, it's a lot more convenient.
Darren, Darren is like, okay, and then he gets the ball rolling and like emails and let's connect and promote. And I'm sure you're like, why can't I
Yeah, so I was looking on Facebook and I wanted to get some pictures of him or something that I could use for promoting. And I couldn't find him and I thought, why on earth can't I find Joe on Facebook? And I'm looking around, then I'm looking at Jen's friend list because I figured surely he's a friend of Jen's. And I couldn't find him on there anyway. And when I couldn't find him on Jen's Facebook, then I thought he has me blocked.
Oh, wait.
Because if
So
you-
when somebody blocks you, he's like invisible.
Exactly. If somebody
in just
blocks you on
everywhere.
Facebook, they cannot see you on any of their friends lists. So you're
Wow.
gone.
Mhm.
You're erased, Jen. I was erased
You're
from
irrelevant.
his life. And I
Be
can tell you
gone,
why,
you.
Joe. This is my opinion, is that for a while, I mean, this goes back 4 years because when Trump started, I was very vocal at certain points in my life about how I did not like what was going on with him. I wasn't hateful, but I spoke my mind. And, you know, over the past 4 years, there's been a lot of friendships that have broken up on Facebook for the same reason, that people say they are either pro-Trump or they're against Trump, just like our country. We are so divided that somebody says something because they don't like him and the opposite person, you know, they really love him or they believe in what he's doing. And then they don't want to see their friends be nasty about the person that they are loving. So
Well,
I think something like that happened, and I don't know what it was, but
I can tell you that that's not the case. So
no,
He just doesn't like your face.
I don't like your face, and
Well, I have
it bothers
gone
me a
with
lot. And no, I mean, you can have your opinion all day long on Facebook. You can like who you like, Trump or you know, Obama or Biden. It does not matter to me. You could say what you want. I'm not going to block somebody because that's ridiculous. If I don't like it, I just no.
But then why did you
scroll
block
along.
Joe?
Yeah, why
I
did
don't.
you?
I don't remember. If I had an answer for that, I would.
Do you
definitely tell you.
remember ever like going through a binge of like blocking or removing people from your Facebook account?
Well, I think at one time, you know, I had some like personal stuff going on, so I didn't like want, you know, people to, you know, comment or, you know, suggest things that weren't going on. You know,
So maybe I said something that you took the wrong way or something. Who
Or
knows?
maybe
I don't think
I know. I think I know what it is. Here's my guess.
I think it was, you know, something that just in case, you know, I got rid of maybe everybody that I was working with because I really want to keep my work and, you know, family life very private. So and that was one way of doing it.
What
So
are you
it's the only
doing on
thing
this show?
I can tell you.
That was
you know,
then.
it's
This is
well,
now.
now
That was
this
then. This is
for-
now.
I have no shame now. It's like 4 years later. Not that I had any shame back then. Just like it became so, you know, intrusive between work and home. I need that separation, to be honest.
So
Yep.
I want to hear Jen's theory.
That was kind of my theory because I struggled with that also is when clients, when coworkers friend request you, do you accept, should you accept, do you just ignore it?
I usually decline current coworkers because I don't want them seeing more about my personal life than what I want them to.
Right. And I think maybe that's what I was thinking. It's like Joe maybe, you know, was going through personal things and didn't want inadvertently for it to affect his work life. So he just forced that separation by unfriending a friend just because you work together, maybe.
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. And and there was, you know, things that happened before then.
But wait,
before I actually
unfriending is different than
unfriended people.
blocking, right?
So I believe I did both as unfriend, block, whatever, because I didn't know what was going to seep through, who was going to get through and see my account and
Right.
jibber jabber about whatever. But there, you know, there were incidents that were on my account that made, you know, things very uncomfortable. You know, people insinuate scenarios that didn't happen. So I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is that when you friend work people and then you unfriend them, they know, and it becomes a big issue, and they take it very personal, and rightfully so. You know, you work with people for a very long time.
And I
you
think
develop
Facebook
rapport
has
with
a
them.
solution for this. You're able to group your friends as like work close friends, everyone, whatever the groupings are. So whenever you share a post, you can exclude people labeled as work.
That sounds like a
Now,
lot of work.
it is a lot of work. I tried to do that.
I did look at that. And I was like, you know what? That's just a lot of organizing, and I'm not that organized with my online social life, so
I
it
did
doesn't mean
that.
that
I looked
much
at that
to me.
too, and it's like I'm not going to spend the time to be creating different type of group friends.
Groups. Well, and it's like I was imagining, man, what if, we're out in a club and I'm, tipsy and I post something and I forget to uncheck the wrong boxes or right boxes.
Oops,
Exactly.
I did it again.
Much tequila, Jen.
Exactly. So, that may be an issue.
But there were times where when we bring up Darren, you bring up political issues and stuff. There are times I had to get rid of people, not because of their posts, but because of the constant posts on my post. So there's a lot of hate posts of anything that I supported, and I was wrong. I'm a racist.
Do you
I don't
post
do that to
things to
people.
like rile people up? Some of the posts you do, I feel like
sometimes I do it just to be like, let's see what happens, And
a lot happens. I'm like, whoa, this
one time,
escalated.
very quickly. So you read them, and so one time I just posted the word Trump just to see what happened. Just the word Trump.
You wrote the word, like you typed the words, or
just Trump. Yeah, just wrote the word, typed the word Trump.
All uppercase or capital T?
I don't remember. But either or, I believe probably all caps because it's a little stronger. Probably get a little more reaction. So, that's kind of
plus that is the brand.
You're a creative director. These things matter.
Yeah.
Is it a period?
These things matter. The caps, initial cap, all lowercase, whatever. So that created, quite a storm of comments, which are fine, but it's a lot of telling me how I'm wrong, trying to school me, right, and just a lot of that negative rapport that I didn't need. So there were a couple times, you know what? I'm getting rid of them.
Are these people that you're, friends with just online, or are some of these people like me and Darren that and all of a sudden you just got weird? I don't know.
So if I'm like close with them, no, I don't get rid of them. But it's like somebody I went to high school with. I get a lot of those. Oh, you're wrong. You're an idiot. Name calling, all that crap. I don't need it. I'll get rid of you. It's silly.
I don't think I've ever name called anybody on Facebook. And usually when I'm posting things about Trump, it's my opinion on my page. The only time I can ever remember, although I can't say that I haven't done it before, but I specifically remember one of my sister's friends was a very conservative, right-wing evangelical and Trump supporter. And she was posting about, and so I don't even know why she was in my feed. Maybe because I'm friends with my sister, and she was my sister's friend. I don't know how it happened.
She may have commented on her feed. So
I don't know, but she used to say such nasty things about the same stuff that Trump used to say of how Democrats are all evil. She was saying the same stuff that he would say. And I replied one time and I said, I'm not evil, I'm just human. And I left it at that. And I never heard back from her. So she probably blocked me too.
You piss people off, there.
The same kind of experience that you had, like, all Democrats are evil and whatever, and that's what I get about being a Republican. It's like all Republicans are evil.
No, that's BS. If
BS
people are saying that, they're listening to Trump, and that's right, what he wanted you to hear.
Trump, he wasn't a polished politician by any means.
He's not a polished human. Come on.
He's not a politician to begin with. And if you like obviously, if you like your presidential and a great speaker, and then I'm not even sure Biden's your man. Obama did a great job at speaking, everything like that. But when it comes to economic values, that's where I lie more of the democratic values, and I do democratic. I believe in American made and America first, and that's.
What does that mean, America first? What does it mean to you?
So for instance, we recently closed down the pipeline for oil, so we become self-sufficient as for oil and gas, and
You mean
Oh, like
drilling in Alaska and stuff instead
yeah. So
of?
drilling, no, drilling from Canada. It's a clean pipeline from Canada all the way down to say like Texas. I don't know all the logistics behind it, but I know it created a lot of jobs. And it made us. The idea was make us more sufficient. So, and we can control emissions and environmental issues that
Mhm.
go along with building this pipeline.
Is this the same pipeline that went through like sacred American Indian land or something?
I think
You
it's
know,
all
I
related, but
Okay.
the
it
I
could
don't,
be
I
all
wasn't
related.
following
You
the
could be all
pipeline.
right, and
didn't just
I feel terrible for that. And if that's the case, that you know, it's bet. But however, now we're going back to where we were, sourcing our oil and natural resources from other countries. They don't have any kind of regulations behind, their emissions or oil spills in the ocean are 10 times worse. And I'm all for the ocean and,
Yeah.
you know, keeping that clean and keep the environment clean. Those countries that they don't have any kind of regulations, they don't give a shit. They're gonna like ship the stuff over, you know, whatever cost it takes, you know, and that's a big problem. If we keep it here, that keeps us a little more safe, and it's a lot cleaner. If there's something that would happen, that the pipe would burst or whatever, that's a lot easier to clean up than
Going across the
thousands
well,
ocean?
I would imagine
ocean.
there's shut off valves on the pipeline in
Yeah,
multiple
and then guess
places.
what? On an
Right.
oil tanker, there's no shut off valve. It's going
It
right
just
into the ocean, and
flows.
And
it's
I
filling.
did read articles that I sort of agree with you, Joe. And I read articles that
Mhm.
in reality, to bring the same amount of, is it oil or is it gas? I don't remember the
It's
pipeline.
oil, yeah, it's
So
crude
to bring
oil.
the same amount of oil, you're basically going to have to cart it by train and truck, which essentially is going to be more poisonous to the environment than bringing it on a pipeline.
But
Yeah, I
does it
mean,
kill the? I don't know. Who knows?
so
So I don't know. That's what I
I mean,
read.
the pipeline's not a faucet to every single state. You're still going to have to carry it through and everything. But my biggest issue is the regulation with other countries. There's no world regulation for shipping oil, and to be safe with that.
And what
We do,
is
but
the issue with going to the America first?
Mhm.
What's wrong with buying goods from China or
Mhm.
whatever? I'm trying to think of
So
places I see closed, Pakistan, stuff
yeah,
like
so
that, you know?
wherever we ship the we get those um, consumer goods from, you know, it could be Pakistan, could be China. The biggest problem with that is we're building their economy. They're going to do it for cheaper. They're going to they're going to ship it. We're going to have to pay for that shipping, all that
Mhm.
stuff. All the jobs are going over there. So now we don't have those manufacturing jobs in the U.S. We don't. It's too expensive. So we send it over there. Well, now their economy is growing, and China, you know, is they want to become the world power economically. They want to become the power with you know economics and also holding all the data, you know, stuff like
And
TikTok
stealing
and stuff
all
like
our
that,
IP, you know, all this
stealing
stuff.
all our information. The one way to be a world power is no longer military might, although they have the biggest land army in the world. China does now, is to control all the you know economic be economic power and to control all the data, and they're doing just that.
Power
So
is in the data, that's for sure.
that's a scary thing. I mean, whoever holds all the data, holds all the information, you know, is the world power, and that's you know, you can't think of it as an old fashioned land war. It's not like that anymore. It's the digital
Mhm.
age. So you know, simple things like you know, keeping the pipelines, keeping jobs here. You know, they said, well, we're going to shift these pipeline jobs to green jobs. Well, that hasn't happened yet. All these
Green,
people,
what do you mean green jobs? What
so
is
the
that?
green jobs, you know, setting up solar
Solar fields,
fields,
windmill.
windmills, all that stuff.
Oh.
So all these guys that are working on the pipeline for however how long, a couple of years now, are now promised these different jobs. They've already moved their family. They're affected. Not only are they affected, but the commerce around them, the towns that planned on this being like a 10, 15-year project, their businesses are screwed now. So
Mhm.
how do you fix that? So it's a domino effect. And I don't think, yeah, why it's a great one world idea, utopia, like, everybody thinks the same, or wants the whole world to succeed. Not everybody thinks like that. Not the whole world rest of the world hates us. I mean, that's why we're in like war.
or
Like half
or
the,
feel sorry for us. One of the
But
two.
I
or
think
they
they
think we're idiots.
they hit us more in the past 4 years.
Oh, they're screwing us, man. You kidding me?
Yeah.
So Joe,
I mean,
what's the answer to this?
Yeah. Like what?
How do we bring the country together and make better decisions?
I don't think it's just politicians, and everybody's rooting for their team and their Democratic Party, and it's almost becoming like a sport nowadays. I don't know if it's because of COVID, we're all locked in our house, but we're highly sensitized to the political movement. I see people being a lot more aware, which is good. It's great, and it's awesome. Being a little bit aware of what politicians doing, what they stand for, what their place is.
Yeah,
What
because
they're
they're
voting on,
spending a lot of
yeah.
time in front of the TV and the computer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And they're spending money, and there's a reason why we're split 50 is because they spent, both Republican parties and Democratic parties have spent a lot of money winning your vote. And I think, to the Democrats' credit, the way they brand themselves has been, we are for the people. We are going to give you everything that you want. Poor, let everybody come in the country. We're going to take care of them. Spend, 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 spend. But here's the problem with that. It's going to be not us who pays for that. It's going to be our kids, our grandkids, our relatives in the future. We're spending another $1.8 trillion on
1.9.
1.9
1.9.
on COVID relief, and from what I see, is only what, 0.8 $1 billion, excuse me, is being paid for COVID. The rest is for a whole bunch of Democratic,
Compromises,
whatever
let's say.
compromises. It's like ridiculous stuff all over the seas. It's ridiculous what they're spending. It's just a whole bunch of fluff that doesn't need to be in there.
Yeah, if you look
Meanwhile,
at the details, there is a lot of stuff in there that it's like, what are we doing? What are we
Yeah.
spending this for?
So for one for instance, they were working on a transit line in San Francisco. That's going to help COVID, or people who are affected by COVID.
That's part of COVID.
This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
this is the typical modus operandi of how government works. When you pass a bill, there's always compromises in the bill. Oh, well, I'll do this for you if you throw this in.
Mhm.
And it goes back and forth, where suddenly the bill that was meant to do X now is doing A, B, C, D, E, and Z,
Mhm.
Yeah.
when maybe it
So-
wasn't intended to.
So I can only think that there's some kind of business deals working in the Democratic Party for them to basically just pass all these bills, because they don't need the Republican Party's approval. They don't, because they outnumber them now. So they're just going to push it through everything. And
There were some that
it's
they
scary.
said they need, that they can. And again, as Darren knows, I don't really know much about politics, and I didn't even really, know the difference between the Senate and House of Representatives and that basic until Trump became president, and then I had to pay attention.
Yeah.
And
You didn't
then-
have to, Jen, but you chose to.
I chose to, and I was like, "What is going on? What? Huh? House
Okay,
minority,
so
House majority."
let me-
But now it's like I get it.
So here's the thing, though.
yeah.
You don't like Trump as a person, right?
No,
you
he's a
hate him as a
horrible
person.
human
No,
being.
but I loved Reagan as a
Right.
person. Although except for the fact that he didn't support AIDS funding.
But
But he was a Republican.
One
He was a person
learned.
a person that people liked being around. He was a likable person, and he brought people together.
Because he was very presidential. He spoke very well.
He's
and
an
he had
actor.
charisma. He wasn't a career politician, but he had. Well, no, I can't say that. He had, Reagan had his years in politics for a long time. So, and he was an actor. I mean,
And he
knows
wasn't
how
a nasty
to.
person. He
No.
wasn't mean to people.
No.
Right.
Well, I mean, sure,
So,
had his
I'm not
his
saying.
times, but
Listen. I'm not saying I go hang out with Trump and he's my best friend or anything like that. I believed in a lot of his values for the U.S. I didn't want to get into that conversation, and just because I said I agreed with a lot of his economic views does not mean I love him as a person. Period. It's two separate things.
Who would you
But,
vote
however,
for? That's
let me just say this, Jen. You did not start getting into politics until Trump
Yes, out of fear.
became president.
Right.
Out of fear. What
That's
do you
true.
think is
A lot
going
of
to
people feel that
happen?
way.
What do you think is going to happen?
he's
when
going to
Trump
be a
became
dictator,
president?
and that's
I
what
was afraid we were going
Gibbs
to
Court
turn
He's not a
into
dictator.
like a dictatorship, turn into Venezuela.
If anything, I'd be afraid of the Democratic Party because they want everything to be government run. You want more government in your life? I don't.
But the Democratic Party's been here for a long time. It's just the way it is.
So it's Republican, but the Democrats want to be. They want to. So
I think
it's
what
almost
Trump
like
did
socialistic.
wrong. So it's like if Trump had the charisma and approach of Reagan, he
Mhm.
may have become dictator. I don't know, but like
Oh, come on.
what he did wrong is he's just too. I don't care. Too blatant.
It's the Trump way or the highway.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of that was.
You need to use some lube if you're gonna like try to jam things up.
Jennifer, I can't believe you just said that.
I did cringe quite a bit when his tweets and some of his speeches, but I don't fall for a lot of the bullshit. So, like, for example, there's always this comparison between Trump and Obama and Trump, my president, not my president, all that crap, right? So if you listen to Obama, it's a lot of nice, sweet talk, and you're gonna do all this, and it's all gonna be great. And to me, he's a salesman, and everybody's like, talking about how Trump's the salesman. He's a terrible salesman, but he gets
Trump
shit
is
done.
a horrible salesman and a horrible
Right.
businessman.
But
Just saying.
he got
I agree with Jen.
he got shit done though. He was
What did he get
Out
done?
of force. I
he
think
was
what
not-
it is, have you ever heard the whole thing where
What do you get
once
done?
you reach a certain
We had
amount
the
of
lowest
money,
unemployment. Our economy was better than it's ever had been before COVID hit. He created all these jobs. He created the pipeline. It was like there's always you have to look at that stuff. You
I
can't
don't know
just,
enough about it to even argue with you.
So like I see a lot.
Honestly.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, Democratic Party. Oh, we're going to give money to the poor and the green and our planet." Blah blah blah. That's great, but until we actually get to a point where we can figure out, example for the Green Deal, like actually make stuff that's reliable. Like solar fields and windmills, they're not reliable. They don't produce enough energy to support a whole city or town. They help, they do.
And they're
But in the
dangerous, some of
meantime-
them, by the way.
Very dangerous. In the meantime, however, let's continue to make ourselves self-sufficient, keep ourselves a world power. We can still help other countries, and that's what I mean by being, America first. If we're not healthy, the rest of the world's not healthy. So yes, we're very sympathetic to other countries. We're willing to help other countries, but if say China goes ahead of us, or Russia, or another world power, they're not going to give a shit about the other countries. They're going to care about themselves. And that's just me guessing. But
were you alarmed by the way he was basically treating Russia?
Mm.
who, Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, like never going counter to what Putin said.
He would believe Putin over his own FBI and CIA.
Yeah, with that whole part, I gotta tell you honestly, I'm not that informed on it, so I'm a little foggy on that, so I can't
He
really.
was almost like a
suggestion-
little kid when he
comment on
was
that,
with
yeah.
Putin. He was just like, oh my God.
My suggestion would be to learn more about that, because that was one of the big issues of why
Yeah.
people hate him, because he likes this
Dictators.
dictators above his own organizations.
Yeah, I think there's a little dart on everybody. I mean, I'm sure you heard of Biden's son, with that whole thing with Russia and China and
The
making millions of
Ukraine,
dollars
right?
off of other Ukraine. I don't even know the countries, but just making some really shady deals and Biden being the beneficiary of that. So I mean, you got to look at this way, and I'm sure you heard this before. I'm going to tell you anything new. Is that I'd be more worried about a politician who was a politician who made millions after being a politician off of what? Being a politician? No, he got deals from something or someplace else. Or Trump, who was already a millionaire, And a lot of people say, oh, he was failing, this, that, and the other. He gave up millions of dollars to be
How did he give
a
up millions
president.
of dollars?
He
He
can't run
made he banked as president. Come on,
listen.
he banked.
I don't know how much they make. Maybe they make $250,000
No,
a year, $500,000.
he didn't bank as like his salary. He was like forcing people to go to his hotels and making people go to
You know
his
what?
properties to
But
bank.
where is his properties at?
Everywhere in the world, Florida, in
So
Moscow,
I would say,
he was trying everywhere.
right. So I would say to that, a lot of people are like, oh, he's a bad businessman, this, that, and the other. But most of his properties, I would say, I would venture to guess, are in the U.S.
By the way, they're not his. They just have his
Okay.
name on it. Just
Whatever.
he makes money off.
How he makes money off of them. I don't disagree with that. However, since they are in the U.S., who works there?
But to be fair,
Well, in the
ethically,
U.S., people, he's
is it
taking
ethical?
jobs.
But here's a simple question for you. Is it ethical? Let's say the three of us. Let's say I owned a hotel and my average nightly rate is $100 an hour.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, I'm going to have a tequila conference. And for those 3 nights of my conference, I'm going to make my nightly rate $1,000. And Joe and Darren, you guys are government people, so it doesn't matter because you're going to write it off as a business expense, but it's 1,000. Is that fair? Is that ethical?
Well, no, you're saying is that what Trump did?
That's what he did. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh well,
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot
But he
of
was banking.
politicians have. Yeah, no.
And Hunter Biden was already investigated, and there's nothing there that is illegal or that should concern
Well,
myself.
Come on.
I needed to research the Hunter thing, but I
He's
don't
not
get
the
why
guy-
Hunter's
Research that.
thing.
He's not the guy running for president,
Right.
and he's
No,
not even
but-
doing anything that's illegal. It's
No,
What
just
did he do?
basically
we don't know
Republican
that. You can't-
things that
you
are
can't say
trying to knock down Biden by
Yeah.
going through his
So-
son, because they can't find anything about Biden. So
Well,
let's
no,
go
there's-
try and get
no.
it through his,
I
I
don't
mean,
his
think
son.
he's been in politics for like
Yeah.
150 years, and he
Yeah.
has no.
and I invite you to do a little research on his political
Biden,
career,
yeah. I
too.
mean, I think
Some
all
really
career
shitty stuff.
politicians have weird, embarrassing
So
things that they do.
my
And I
point-
think
my-
you should
my-
run for an
my
office.
point is to all this, Republican or Democrat, they all have businesses in their pockets. They're not here to save us. You could buy into the Democratic Party. They're all for the American people and this, that, and the other. They might help you now, but you're going to pay for it later.
I'm much more interested in local government now than federal, because I feel like the change can happen within your town more
I think you're
easily
right.
and visibly than what's happening at the federal level.
Yeah, and it goes to show with the COVID happened and the shutdowns, and I'll say the blue states and the red states, and who shut down, who didn't, and how effective that was, and who benefited from that, and who didn't. They're all self-run.
I'm exhausted. I need to take a nap.
Oh my God.
You're exhausting me, Joe.
Why? Why?
I've never
Why?
seen Darren this quiet. He's just like,
He's just let me roll.
He's
He's just let me roll.
yeah, I'm letting you roll.
letting you roll. Well, I mean, I
we
think the beauty of it is we all, even between the three of us, we have differing opinions on what is
Excuse
the
me,
good,
Jen.
bad-
You and
good,
I
bad,
thought we were
and
on the
ugly.
same page.
We're on the same page, but then there, I'm sure we have some deviations in thoughts and stuff.
By the way, why are you on the bottom again?
Am I? I'm on the top on
You're
mine.
on my screen. You're on the bottom. So
You're on the
I'm,
bottom
I'm the
line.
one streaming. You're going to be on the bottom again.
Aw. Am I on the top again, or
You're
I'm
on the top
of mine?
next to me.
Yes.
I don't even know how to move, Jen.
I'm
Oh
next
wait,
to
can I
you,
do it?
Darren.
Oh, look at that.
On the top.
Now I'm on the bottom, Jen.
Where
Is that
we
where,
belong
is
in
that
life?
where I
don't know.
belong?
This is weird.
Okay,
I didn't know you
Jen,
could move it around.
Jen
It's weird.
Joe are at the top. I didn't know either, but now I just did.
So
Okay.
going back to Facebook and this whole blocking versus unfriending versus muting, a funny thing, and I don't know the answer to this, this is an unsolved mystery to this day that happened to me, is that back when we all worked together, whoops, I touched some rope, back when we all worked together, We had a coworker there named Christy, and I thought we were cool when I was there. I didn't really, have any issues with her. We weren't like best buds, but I think I went to her house once. We went out to the bar a couple times. She was cool. And then she left JK, I think in kind of tumultuous terms. I'm not exactly sure. And shortly thereafter, I remembered, because she was a frequent poster. Suddenly, like, I wasn't seeing her posts anymore, and because I used to work with her, and I wasn't seeing her feed.
Did you used to talk to her at work, like on a regular basis, or no?
Work stuff, not like anything else, but we had a lot of projects that we would kind of work together on. And so when I started not noticing her stuff anymore, because she would post so often, I like searched for her name and I couldn't find her. And then I was like, what did I do?
Are you friends with her, Joe, or on Facebook?
I would have to look. I don't think so.
Let
me look
Jen,
right now.
Jen and I were talking about this. So I looked to make sure she was still friends with me, and she is.
Mm-hmm.
But her and I were sort of, she was managing the print team and I was managing the interactive team. So she would come to me and tell me her woes frequently, and I would sometimes tell her my woes, but not as often as she would tell me her woes. And then she stayed friends with me, and I would compliment her about certain things because she wrote a book that I read and had a gay storyline. And that's how I think her and I started to bond, by just talking about that kind of stuff.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, I think she was still at the company when she was starting to write the first book. I don't know how many books she has, but it was weird and surprising. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, but it might be the same issue that, there's certain people that she decided to hang on to, that she had something with, the friendship with, or maybe she felt that way or not. But her and I also used to complain about JK after we left.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like maybe it was
about it.
And maybe putting aside, maybe she just totally hates me and I don't know it.
How could anybody hate you, Jen?
Could be. Maybe it had to do with, Jerry and I were pretty close, who's the owner of the company.
Oh, probably right. That had something, I'm sure, with, yeah.
So
probably.
Anybody that was like friends with him, she would
cut off.
Yeah. I am not friends with her. So on Facebook. So
you're not. Oh.
No.
Are you friends with Jerry?
Cut me off. No, like I said, like that separation between work and.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's our guest tonight, so he's going to be on in about 5 minutes.
Oh, great.
Maybe we should have him on, Jen. What do you think?
I don't mind.
Well, talk to him about retirement. Like, what's his retirement plans?
I mean, just being on the beach, I think, is all he's doing now.
Yeah,
right?
He's got a house at the beach, right?
That sounds super
awesome.
Boring.
No, I'd love
I need to do stuff. Yeah.
So back to Facebook. So my thought is that if you are, Jen brought this up. She said, and I think you were only kidding, but I think there's a point to it, is that isn't a better thing to do than block somebody if you're upset with them? Just take them off your feed, because there might be a point in time where that person, even though you got annoyed or didn't like them, might be able to do something for you. So it's not necessarily
I've muted
blocking.
I've muted many people for, you can pick how long to mute them. And I usually go with the longest, which is 30 days, just to get a total cleanse. They're normally family members.
Oh, really?
But
wow.
And that way, they're still friends. I still, love them or like whoever they are. I just am tired of seeing.
It's interesting you say that, because my sister is an evangelical Christian, kind of far on the right, although she did not vote for Trump a second time. She voted Biden. But she told me one time, I don't know, about a year ago, that she was taking a 30-day break from Facebook. Maybe it's she couldn't stand all the things I was saying. Who knows?
But here's the thing: like, why, if you don't like it, why don't you just scroll? Why does it affect you so deeply that it bothers you that much? Somebody else's beliefs. it's. I mean, I'm not taking it's attacking you personally, or questioning you personally.
You mean
I
my
ignore it. I'm
sister?
like, whatever. Well, yeah. I mean, I see a lot of religious stuff, and I don't necessarily agree with, or views I don't agree with. I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't care.
I think it goes back to, I believe, when we grew up, she was not as um, insistent. She wasn't insistent at all. She was not really a religious person when we were growing up. And
Hmm.
she went through things with her daughter that I think she grasped onto religion that helped
Mhm.
keep her sanity.
Mhm.
So I don't give her a direct hard time about it now, but I think that she believes certain things that um, she believes everything by the King James book, Bible. And I
Yeah.
don't know that that's
What
reality.
religion is that? Is that
Uh,
a
Yeah, and
form?
that's
Just-
fine. And Darren, honestly, I could relate with you. My sister's the same way. When we were growing up, I have 4 sisters, so this is like one of them. And she was like a goth girl growing up. I mean, she was like black hair and punk music and whatever it was. And
Right.
then as we got older, she's just like super religious and Jesus will save you and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. And she posts the same kind of stuff, but I'm like, I don't care.
well, that's what I
Whatever.
do too most of the time. But what made your sister that way? Did she go through something where she?
Yeah, I mean, I think she went through something personal, and I think that really helped her get back to where she is now. And different things work for different people. But I agree with you. I think they become um, kind of tunnel vision is what got them there, meaning that what got them there healthy mentally and spiritually doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So they're very high on that religion and they feel good about it and it gets them through the day, but not necessarily that, resonates with everybody else. So, and that's fine for her and it's fine for other people. It's just not for me.
Yeah, that's the way I feel too. Although I just
Yeah.
wish she wasn't that way because she's my sister and I wanted to be more like what she was when she was younger, more open.
You can think of it like this, Darren.
Yeah,
It's better
yeah,
that she's
yeah,
like
yeah.
she's clinging on to God and religion instead of like crack and prostitution.
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
It's like I said
Well,
before,
that's
it
a
helped
big
keep her
contrast,
sanity.
Jen.
Just saying, bright side.
Oh, thanks,
You're
Joe.
right. I mean,
appreciate
a
that.
lot of people who get down, yeah. I mean, they definitely go to the drugs instead of religion, but I mean, they're both a little out there when they get a little too far with
Right.
both, right?
I mean, I think the problem with why don't you just scroll is Facebook, and this is different, I think, than Instagram, where on Instagram, I have a lot of people that I follow that I don't know. I just really appreciate the content that they produce. And I
Mhm.
don't necessarily even read the captions and the stuff. I just appreciate the imagery. In
Mhm.
Facebook, it feels a little more personal, like it is actually your friends and family, and the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, I would say are, some are from high school and stuff like that, but a lot are actual people that I know, interact with, and I consider friends. Um, and so when they say things that are controversial, it makes me question my decision to be that person's friend. Like, what do we have in
Well-
common? I don't understand.
well, that's the thing. I mean, people are, in your life for different reasons. And you don't necessarily have to agree with everything that they say. They might be a friend you just have a drink with and you talk about movies and you have that in common. And
Right.
you don't have to be, what I call a 360 friend. Like everything that you do and say and, everything in your life revolves 360 around what Jen thinks and feels. It doesn't
Right.
work that way. And that's the great thing about, and I'll bring it back to America, is that
America.
we're a melting pot of personalities, colors, races, and personalities. We're all gonna have different opinions, and I welcome other opinions. And I may not agree with them, and that's fine with me. But I might love somebody, but I may not agree with their political views. Darren.
But Joe, you know what? Somehow this country has to sit together and talk to each other and come to some sort of agreement.
There'll
Meet
never be
middle
agreement.
somewhere.
There'll never ever be agreement, and that's fine. And there's no such thing as unity. Unity, to me, way they talk about it, unity means that we're all going to think the same. That's dictatorship.
That's
We're-
North Korea.
What we're all going to agree upon is to disagree. That's what's going to happen. And the far left and the far right can go screw themselves because they're way too far either way.
Joe, do you think I'm
The
on
only
the far
thing
left?
get closer to the middle. No, I think you're closer to the middle. I think Jen's closer to the middle. I think I'm closer to the middle. But just because I weigh on the Democratic side, Republican side, is only for economic views. All the other stuff, I agree with the Democrats as far as social views. A lot of it, most of
Like
it.
the gay rights and
Yeah, gay rights,
abortion.
pro-choice, legalizing marijuana, all that stuff.
Which is
Freedom of
officially
religion.
official.
Well,
It's
it's official,
official
but
right
they
now.
need to
Right.
now create all the laws for who's going to dispense it, how are they going to control it.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
next step. That's another year.
Mhm.
Listen, I mean, but how we talk
And
about
then-
pro-choice. We talk about pro-choice, but I do think there's a limit to that. I think if you're like 7 months pregnant, well, you can't get an abortion. I mean, it's a bit of a problem. That's a sticky issue, but it's not my body and it's not my choice. I mean, I could never have a kid, and so I have no idea what the woman's going through, and it's so many other issues. So like I
always wonder about, because I'm sure it's a very difficult decision to have an abortion in the third trimester, because that's like basically a viable human you're killing, right? So there have to probably be, very extreme circumstances to not have made that decision in the first 2 trimesters, that you waited until then. I don't know. Again,
yeah.
it would be tough for
I
me
agree.
to make that choice in the third trimester, but I can't make that decision.
It would be tough for me to have a child and push it out of myself.
Yeah.
Because you're a
Oh
man.
my God.
Well, where would
I
it come
can
out
only
of?
imagine.
Right.
Ouch.
Right. Exactly.
Oh boy.
So I've never actually blocked anybody on Facebook. I feel like now I need to just go block someone. Just to
See how it
what-
feels. It feels good.
Block me, Jen.
It feels good.
You can unblock me about 2 years
feel it.
later after I notice that you blocked me.
Yes. Like what happened? That's
All right, you know what? Can I say one thing? The last thing I remember talking to Joe about on Facebook is asking him how his kids were dealing with the divorce. I think that was on Facebook, and that maybe something in that conversation.
Yeah, maybe he was like,
Decided
"Oh
to
shit,
close
he
it.
knows I'm getting a
No,
divorce."
no.
No,
Block.
a lot of people knew that. So
No, I mean, I think that was public knowledge at that point. It was like 4 or 5 years
but
ago.
that was probably a private message too. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, I highly doubt you would post that. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
See how
However,
Joe's doing on his divorce.
interestingly, counter to the Facebook approach of me never having blocked people, I block people left and right on Instagram, like all day long. 'Cause
Jen, if you're on Instagram so much, why aren't you posting things on our Instagram account?
because I have like my cat account, I have my tequila.
Well, you have all these
God.
accounts. Add our account and post things to it.
I need the credentials.
I gave you the credentials. I'm going to email you again.
Okay. I'll take a
And the
picture of a
Twitter
microphone.
feed. We'll take
or
care of
something.
Twitter.
Joe will make fun of me because I don't know.
Oh, let me say one more thing.
I always make fun of you.
Before we
For
run
what?
out of time, I want you to know, Jen and Joe, that our traffic on Libsyn has gone up significantly since November.
Nice.
I
What
don't
did
know
you do
why.
differently?
Because I'm on.
Because
Yeah,
Joe-
because you're on, Joe. That was
He's
November.
a
it started.
celebrity. That's right. Of Ewing, New
So
Jersey.
Joe, the way this works is when we have a live show, it records to the cloud, to the DNR accounts,
Mhm.
and then I publish it to Libsyn, and from Libsyn, DNR that repeats the show, they're playing it from Libsyn, and also when I publish it to like iTunes or wherever else, there's probably about 10 of the sites. They all refer back to Libsyn to play the stream. So the statistics are people that are playing it from those locations. So it looks a lot better than it did within
That's
the past few months.
exciting news.
Yeah. So I don't know what
But
it is.
I'm gonna venture to guess that your biggest listeners have happened between when did I join? Like January, right? January,
Joe,
yeah.
There was a jump between November to December, and about the
What?
same amount of percentage increase between December and January.
I doubled your
And-
followers.
And January to February is more.
See, look at that.
So you need to tell these people to share.
Yeah, or we need to get like 7 people
Oh my
co-hosting.
God.
And
No
then
way. 3's
boom.
enough.
I
Three's
think
company.
that I think we should promote with just my face and just my name. That would
Great.
help.
Well, wait a
Get
minute.
rid of
Now
you
that you're
guys.
working out of the gym, we want you to promote without your shirt on. And then we'll
Whoa,
add that to the
whoa.
we'll add it to the
I'll let you
Wait
two
till-
do that photo shoot.
I'm not doing it. Wait till the summertime until I'm tan, and I might do it.
all right, it's 8:20. Joe, what's our new segment?
For next week,
No, tonight.
right now, I have
Yes.
no clue.
Dang.
Oh, my kids did want to say something,
Oh,
or you
Your
could.
kids?
They want to. You can ask them some questions about me. I thought that might be kind of fun.
So Joe told me that the new segment was going to be a weekly daddy joke or something like that. So I
not
guess he's not-
daddy. Not
he's not
daddy
prepared with a joke.
Daddy, you said make it sound so
That's
gross. Daddy jokes. Well, no, that's how I have to open it now. I have to say, now
Daddy.
it's time for daddy, jokes
joke.
with Joe Jordan, your daddy.
What was the name of your segment? I don't remember anymore. Something about
It was just dad
Jokes.
jokes. I don't know.
dad
So-
jokes.
so-
Okay, not
Dad
dad
jokes
dad jokes.
mean corny
I-
jokes.
Yeah, corny jokes. But I'm gonna flub these like crazy. And I did not make up any of these myself, but I do have a resource which I'm not going to give out right now, and also multiple books which people have given me because they know the love of a good dad joke.
Are
that I
you as
have.
good as Chuck? Let's just put that out there because
Are you talking about
Some-
logos or
Chuck is like
no
really
no
good
one
at
is
those.
no one is good as Chuck. He always had them, and I don't think I appreciate him as much as until I became a dad. And after I became a dad, I'm like, you know what? Maybe something transforms you in your mind, in your head, or something
are we
like
talking
that.
about
and-
Chuck from JK? Just so I'm on the
Yeah,
same page.
Chuck.
Okay.
So he probably blocked you too, but on Facebook, he put some funny things there.
All right,
All
give us a
right,
joke.
so all right, here's a really bad one. Okay, I'm gonna mess this up. So it's a two-way conversation. Doctor, relax, David. It's just a small surgery. Don't panic. Me? But my name isn't David, doctor. I know, I'm David.
What?
What?
You didn't get it? I'll
Wait,
do
wait,
it
wait.
again.
Do it
All
one
right,
more time.
Two-way
Okay.
conversation. The doctor says, relax, David. It's just a small surgery. Don't panic. Me? But my name is David. My name isn't David. The doctor says, I know, I'm David.
So he was telling himself.
Self to relax. Oh my God.
I have
All
one.
right.
It's not a dad
right,
joke,
good.
but after you do your next one, I'm gonna do a tequila joke.
Oh God.
I found one I thought you both would appreciate.
Oh, I got to go on. Go.
No, you go, and then I'll do
Oh,
that.
okay. It's my last one. So, did you guys hear about my camping trip?
No, what happened on your camping trip?
It was intense.
That was funny. That was funny.
That was awesome. That's my best. That's like
Where's
my.
your sound effect, Darren? Come on.
I did. Did you hear that?
Oh, okay. There.
Oh, yes. That was like my top level one. I don't pull it out for many people.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Okay, this one is about like a 45-second to get to the punchline. So hang
This is
in
your
there. with me.
daddy joke.
No, this is
There's
my
daddy
daddy. All right. So this joke is the best way to drink tequila. Okay. So a guy is strolling down the street in Mexico City and he kicks a bottle lying on the street. Suddenly, out of the bottle comes a genie. And the guy is stunned and the genie says, "Hello, master. I will grant you one wish, anything you want." And so the guy begins thinking and he said, "Well, I really like drinking tequila." So finally he says, "I wish to drink tequila whenever I want. So make me pee tequila."
Oh God.
It's not pee and tequila. He's peeing actual tequila. Okay.
I understand.
All right.
But it's coming out of that hole, Jen.
The
That's gonna
genie
burn a
grants-
little bit. That's a little
Oh
burning.
my God,
right?
that's right.
I'm not a guy. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever. The genie grants him the wish, And when the guy gets home, he gets out a glass out of the cupboard and he pees in it. He looks at the glass and it's clear and it looks like tequila. Then he smells it. It smells like tequila. So he takes a taste and it's the best tequila he's ever tasted. So he yells to his wife, Consuelo, Consuela, come quickly. And so she comes running down the hall and the guy takes another glass out of the cupboard and he fills it and he tells her to drink it. And it's tequila. And she's like reluctant, but she goes ahead and she takes a sip. And she thinks it's the best tequila she's ever tasted. And the two drank and partied all night. Then the next night, he comes home from work and he tells his wife to get 2 glasses out of the cupboard and proceeds to fill the glasses. Same result. Tequila is excellent and a couple of drinks under the sun and the sun comes up. Finally, Friday night comes and the guy comes home and he tells his wife, why don't you grab 1 glass from the cupboard and we'll drink tequila? And she's like, she gets a glass out of the cupboard and sets it on the table. And the guy begins to fill the glass. And when he fills it, the wife asks him, but why do we only need 1 glass? And he raises his glass and says, because tonight, my love, you drink from the bottle.
Oh.
What'd you think?
You hear the sound effects, Jen? The audience is laughing.
It was a little broken
And
up.
that was
You
good.
tried. Yeah, I like that. That was good.
My dad being
Jen,
Joe.
I want to drink from the bottle.
You're gonna drink straight from the bottle.
Oh my god, so gross.
Come on, Joe.
It's
Try it once.
tequila. It was tequila.
I don't care what it was. I'm not drinking from that bottle.
Yeah. Darren, do you have a joke off the cuff? Do you know of any? Are you even funny? Let's hear you be funny.
He's got nothing. He's
I got
struggling. I
nothing.
could see him. He's like sweating.
Oh my god.
I think that was the most uncomfortable I've ever seen him.
No, he's like to tell
What, me
that
be
joke.
funny? I don't know how to do that.
Shut up! I'm not
I
that
am
bad.
Darren.
Am I really that bad? Am I bad?
When I first met you, you were very for a while until you loosened up a little bit.
Just
You were very yes.
Swallowed.
I love that.
Yes, you were.
You were very. Mhm.
I'm not
But
so
I mean,
serious anymore.
I have very fond memories of drinking a little too much beer at Petrox with Darren, and then he would be really loosey goosey and friendly.
Yeah.
So you're saying I should drink more? Is that what it comes down to?
Mean.
Joe, what are
Yeah.
you drinking tonight? I don't see you with your glass of
I'm
scotch.
drinking some red
Oh,
wine
that's
tonight.
right.
Just the glass, and
So
What did you have
classy.
before that?
I had a small bourbon. That was it.
A small. What define small?
Bourbon.
He
Ice,
does this every show.
water.
Come on, Darren.
I know. I think it's
So like a half a shot,
bourbon,
a half a
ice,
shot,
water.
half a shot.
That's what it is, Joe.
A half a shot of bourbon, 2 ice cubes, and then the rest of the glass is like all water.
So you need to water your
it's
bourbon
too-
down.
It's just it burns. It's too strong, and I like the watered down flavor, and yeah.
So you
mean-
want like water. You want a little bit of bourbon with your water.
How would you
Yes,
compare
exactly.
bourbon to scotch?
I don't think I've ever tried scotch. To be honest with you.
Oh,
No.
I like.
I
Do you
mean,
know what
There's
the
certain
word
bourbons I
peaty
don't. I like, but I don't like scotch.
I mean, I'm in like a newbie to it. I never ever drank bourbon ever till about a year ago, and because anytime I've ever had it, people always gave me that little glass, or they just had it dry or just a little ice. There was no water.
Mhm.
So one night was the only thing they drank. So I'm like, I'm gonna water the fuck out of this, like water it down, and I'm gonna have a drink because I needed it. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of like this. So it's watered down a lot and have a little
So
bourbon.
you like the American, bourbon, which has to be made in the U.S. We are making a whiskey, which is basically bourbon not made in the
Really?
U.S.
You're
Yeah,
making
yeah.
whiskey now, so you
So-
make tequila, gin, and a whiskey.
Mm.
Wow, Jen, I'm
Wow.
impressed.
So
It's a
what
pure
is it?
malt.
Not what it? How's it go? So it goes like not all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon.
Bourbon,
Yeah.
right? Because bourbon
Right.
has to be in the U.S. and then in Kentucky, whatever it is.
We're out of time.
All right.
Jen, you're going to tell us all about this next week.
Yes.
I want to hear more about the whiskey,
Yes.
but I want you to make bourbon.
No.
All right.
All
See you next
right.
week.
Bye.
Bye.
guys.
Good night, guys. Bye.